I apologize. I didn't have the chat down. Y'all could have been talking to each other. I was wondering why I didn't see any dialogue and realized I didn't have the chat down. Malito John, Chimachukma. Okay. Amachukma. Okay. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people who have sent in today's date. There are 4 people who have sent in today's date. And Tawana's the first one. Tawana's the first one to send in today's date. And I had reminded you that when you come into class, answer the question. Himaknitakat nata. So Tawana says, Himaknitakat flighty, akas pakuli tuklo akuchahanali. You missed taflipa. You forgot to put taflipa. Sipukni tuklo akuchawahanali. Machukma. Justin was the second one. Himaknitakat flighty. Hashihochi foyat akas pakuli tuklo akuchahanali. Taflipa sipukni. You forgot the tuklo on that one. Taflipa sipukni tuklo akuchawahanali. And this one says Himaknitaka flighty akas pokoli tuklo awahanali taflipa sipukni tuklo akuchapoko pokoli awa taslap. I think you forgot how to write 20, what is today? 26. Okay. Himaknita kocha yahushonti chukmi. Very good. Okay, Tabitha, I see your note. Halito Tammy. I'll put her down as attending today. And if you have not written in today's date, oh, Anthony did too. You forgot Falaiti. You put down the English word Friday. It is Friday. I will accept that. Akas pukuli tuklo akuchahannali. Achukma. If you're just now writing it in, today's date, then you're too late. Tawana, Justin, and John have already beat you, and Anthony. Tawana was the first one, Justin, Laura, and Anthony. So if you're just now writing in today's date, it's too late. You're just doing it for practice, because I had to ask you to write that in as soon as you come to class. Okay. We have gone over the days of the week, and maybe we'll get to that again, but the question is, how do you spell Friday? I'll just put it on screen real quickly. Flighty. Flighty. This is for Anthony. Flighty. Okay. Today we're going to, excuse me. I had to take off yesterday. Yesterday I sounded like I could sing bass very well. But my throat hurt so bad yesterday. I feel good, I just don't sound good. Whatever it was, it's passing by though, and I can breathe. I can breathe today. At some point, we're going to go over the question Himagnita Kuchayanka Tilmi, that's asking what the weather is. And this is always interesting to me because we come from different parts of the country, and the weather is not always the same as what I find here in Durant, Oklahoma, or Calera, Oklahoma. And that's always interesting to see, but we'll get to that later. This is not something that's that important to know. It is important, but not as important as learning the grammar and how to speak. So we'll go over that at some other time. Okay, again, I want to remind you, as soon as you log into class is when you need to send in today's date, Himagnita. And we have gone over the days of the week. I showed you the name of the month. We'll get into, when we get into September, we'll learn the new month. And then you have learned the numbers 1 through 31, so that should tell you how to write the date. And then we have gone over the year. Okay. So today we're going to look at vowels. We're going to look at Choctaw vowels. Let me see. Anumpa has 3 rules for writing nasalization, and these are found in the introductory pages of the dictionary written by Cyrus Byington. A lot of people take Cyrus Byington's work and make adjustments on how they think it should be written. They'll put a little twist on it and put their name on it, which is what happened to Byington's manuscript for the dictionary. John Swanton and a couple of other guys took it over. Swanton was not a speaker, but he had help from others, and he changed a couple of things in the dictionary, which makes it more difficult. But if everyone would just stay with Byington's way of writing the grammar, then I don't think we would have any trouble at all. But speakers tend to write how they think it should be spelled, and that's okay because they are a speaker and they write it in a manner that you're going to be able to understand it. But those who don't speak might take the language and try to put words together that don't really fit together, and those things do happen. But I will at some point go over how to use the dictionary where it's going to be more helpful to you. And that's taking what the changes that Swanton has done with Byington's work, and made something his own, which really doesn't apply in the language anyway. If everybody would, like I said, if everybody would stay with Byington, then everything be okay. But these 3 rules are found in the introductory pages of the dictionary. And the dictionary was written by Cyrus Byington. There have been people over time that get credited for this, but it's Cyrus Byington's work. And if I've gone over this already, then forgive me, I'm doing it again. I'm going to back up. I need to get as close to the end of the left of the screen as I can. The first rule says before P and B, nasalization is written as the letter N. I'm sorry. I can't spell. I started to say today, but that happens every day. Nasalization is written as M. Okay. Again, the first one says before P and B, if I'm a cursor, before P and B, nasalization is written as M. The second rule says before TCH and L, nasalization is written as N. The third rule says otherwise. Nasalization is written as the letter, it's written by underlining the nasalized vowel. Again, the third rule says otherwise. Nasalization is written by underlining the vowel. And this, I'm going to take a moment. If I haven't told you, then I want to remind you. Sometimes I get this class mixed up with the night class. I do write everything down, but sometimes I don't remember to write it down. This brings me to the point where I'm writing the capital letters in where I said Nampanaklo Hashinshihon when I wrote the letter I in capital and in Inshi. This is to show you that when you write it in your notebook that you would underline this vowel. The I in Inshi, the first letter I in Inshi is going to have an underline because it's a nasal sound. Inshi. So I don't have the capability of underlining while I'm typing in this program, so I use the capital letter to show you that this is going to have an underline, and that you should do so in your notebook. And then when you write it to me, when you have your assignments that you're writing to me or answering the question, then when you use that capital letter, it tells me that you do understand this should have an underline. And again, there are the three rules for writing nasalization. Before P and B, nasalization is written as M. Before TCH and L, nasalization is written as N. Otherwise, nasalization is written by underlining the vowel. And I want you to understand too that we don't pronounce the M or the N, but the sound is there in the pronunciation. You will hear that sound in the pronunciation. And what happens when you're nasalizing the vowel before P and B, when you say the letter P or B, you're going to bring your lips together. That just happens. So in bringing your lips together to give that P or B sound is when you're going to hear the sound of M. You don't actually pronounce the letter M, nor do you pronounce the letter N when you're nasalizing a vowel before TCH and L. Clear the screen. Nampanaklo Hashinshi. Nampanaklo Hashinshi. Okay, I've heard from half the class. I'm always afraid of leaving someone behind. So it helps me when you respond to my questions. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to learn first about the sounds of the long A. The long A, excuse me, my voice just went for a minute. A long A is going to sound like the vowel we hear in father. It's going to sound like ah, ah. Many Choctaw words end in the sound of long A. There's no written distinction between the long and short sound on the final letter. Even within a word, a lot of times you're not going to know if this is going to be a short sound or a long sound. You just have to know by hearing it and pronouncing it and know that it's going to be a long sound or a short sound. The first example word you hear is achi, achi, achi. Achi. The A is not spelled separate from the CHI. That is just I just put them in syllables just to show you. They're not written, the A is not written apart from the CHI. Achi. I'm going to try to write in here the words themselves. Achi and Pilashash. 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 Achi, Pilashash. Achi and Pilashash. Next we're going, excuse me, the cough is still there. In learning Anumpa, you might not produce the vowel sounds exactly like I do, but that's okay. And you're going to be really aware of how you're making those vowels sound, and that's okay. But after a while, once you become accustomed to pronouncing the words and using them in sentences and in conversation, you're not going to be that acutely aware of pronouncing the words as they should be. You'll become more accustomed to pronouncing them. And I had said that the vowels each have 3 distinct sounds, the long A, short A, the nasal. The only difference between the long and short is how long you hold it. The long A, you hold it just a little bit longer than you would the short. They sound exactly alike. And the nasal is produced by, the sound is produced by allowing the sound to vibrate in the nasal cavity. And that's how I've sounded for the last 2 or 3 days. I feel like all my words are nasals. Now we're going to look at the sounds of the short A. Short A. Someone had asked about the letter V. Why do I use the letter V? I use the letter V because as far back as we have learned in 1830, I believe it was 1830. Let me look at it real quick. When Cyrus Byington's first grammar book was published, I'm sorry, I am wrong. It was originally published in 1870. The Grammar of the Choctaw Language by Cyrus Byington was first published in 1870. And in this publication is where the letter V is used. The letter V is used. It says remarks on the alphabet. The vowel V has heretofore been called the short A. Let me correct that. It says heretofore has been called the short U, but the Choctaws give it the sound of short A. The Choctaws give it the sound of short A. So this is Byington's first grammar book, first printed in 1870, where the letter V is used to represent the sound of the short A. We have had conversations about this over time, but this gives us a concrete proof that the V can be used for the sound of the short A. I had given you the sound of the upsilon. Let me see, let me read this. It says the short A sounds like the vowel and around. Ah, just a short ah. The short A beginning a word and within a word may be written as the Greek letter upsilon. What happened at that time was Cyrus Byington used English characters to represent the sounds that he heard the Choctaw people saying. And each of the vowel sounds had a character that he could use to apply to it, except the sound of short A. There was no character that he could use for the sound of short A. So he borrowed from the Greek the letter upsilon. He borrowed from the Greek the letter upsilon, which kind of looks something like this. That's not very good. I don't write too well. Anyway, never could use an Etch-a-Sketch. So this is kind of like using an Etch-a-Sketch. It curls on the side and then it goes up. This kind of represents Greek letter upsilon. And like I said, the English letter V was adopted later on, and we have adopted within our writing as well to represent the sound of the short A. So at no time will you sound the V as we know it in English. It will have the sound of the short A. So here we have the letter V, and I use the letter V because I don't have the capability of writing the upsilon. I do in other manuscripts because we do have a font, called the Choctaw, we call it Choctaw Roman, that supports the Greek letter upsilon, and we use it in a lot of our documents. But for this program, I don't have that capability, so I use the letter V. So this is what you'll see me using to represent the short A. The first example word there is Allah. 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 Both the L's are going to be sounded. Allah. The second word you see there is Hashi. 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 This is not to be confused with other words. Always keep in mind the letter V is going to be Ah. Hashi. Next, we're going to look at the sounds of the nasal A. The nasal A. The nasal A is going to sound like the vowel you hear in the word want. W-A-N-T. This is my sound-alike word in English, want. Want. When I was learning to speak English, learning to read, this was what was told to me, that this is how it's spelled, this is how it sounds. So actually, I wasn't taught nasalization as we teach nasalization in Choctaw. It's important. It's important to have that nasal sound. Sometimes we have words that have the nasals. It's going to mean one thing, and without the nasal, it's going to mean something else. This is why it's important to know and practice nasalization. So in this word, this English word, if you pronounce that, you're going to find that you don't actually pronounce the N. This is what I was mentioning a while ago. This happens in English, just like in Choctaw. We don't pronounce the N. What happens is we're nasalizing that A. And notice how the A comes before T. Want. Same thing happens if we were going to use the word inch. The A comes before. I'm sorry. the N comes before CH, and you're nasalizing the I. Inch. I comes before CH, using the N for nasal, but you don't pronounce the N. So that's something to keep in mind. You don't pronounce the N, you don't pronounce the M. Looking at the words, what I wanted to tell you about want, the word want, W-A-N-T. If you were to take away the W and the T sound, the sound that you have left over would be that nasal A. Want, W-A-N-T, want. Take out the W, aunt, take out the T, The sound you have left over is that nasal A sound. And we also learned this as the A for yes. We learned the nasal A means yes, same sound, same sound. Looking at the words, we have the first word, ample, ample. This follows the first rule for writing nasalization. Before P and B, nasalization is written as the letter M. We nasalize the A, and when we put our lips together to give the P sound, it's when you go and hear the sound of M come through. We don't pronounce the M. Ample, ample, ample. The second word follows the second rule for writing nasalization, anchi, anchi, anchi. The third word follows the third rule for writing nasalization. Otherwise, nasalization is written by underlining the vowel. Panshi, panshi, panshi. So no matter if you use the M or the N or the underline, all of these sounds are alike. Ample, anchi, panshi. Naponaklo hashinshi. Naponaklo hashinshi. Okay, let's go to the three sounds of O. I'm sorry, three sounds of I. Three sounds of I. First is the long sound. It's going to sound like the I we hear in machine, E. The long I sounds like E. The long I sounds like E. The long I sounds like E. The I in machines is the long I sound. It's going to sound like E. A lot of our Choctaw words are written with the E to show that this has the long I sound. The E represents the long I sound. And like I said, it's not written in all the words that we have that has the long I sound. In some words, the written letter I you're not going to know if it's long or short because of the way it's written. That's why you have to know how these are going to sound. The first word you see there is achifa. We do write this word with an E. Achifa. Achifa. The next letter represents the word for wheat, and it's pronounced just that way, E. E. Again, when you have words like this, tochina, tochina, just as we saw in machine, tochina, the long I is sounded where the I is, tochina, tochina. And some speakers tend to write it with an E. And I want you to understand that there will be different ways of spelling words that you're going to see depending on who the writer is. Even if they're speakers, they're going to write something differently because this is how they speak. Next, we're going to look at the short. The sounds of the short I. The sound of the short I. And this is pretty much as we know it in English. E. Short I is like we know it in English. E. You might use example words like hit, lips, any word in English that has a short I sound you can use as an example word for that, for the short I. E. E. The first example word you see there is ikbe. 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 Both the I's have a short sound. Ikbe. Ikbe. The next word is pronounced nishkin. 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 Both the I's are short sounds. Ikbe and nishkin. Ikbe, nishkin. Next we have the sounds of the nasal I. The example word that I would use in English for this is the word sing. Ink are two example words of the nasal sound. When you pronounce these words, you're not pronouncing the N, you're nasalizing the I. Sing, sing, ink. Sing and ink. So here the first word represents the first rule for writing nasalization before P. Nasalization is written as M. Impa. Impa. Second word follows the second rule. Pinti. Pinti. You don't sound the N, you nasalize the I. Pinti. Third word follows the third rule, underlining the vowel. Bilinka. 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 A lot of times you're going to see a short I. You will see a short I followed by the M before P. That tells you this has a nasal sound. And what happens in the pronunciation is even though you have an I, the sound of the short I, and it's nasalized, it becomes a long sound. So you don't pronounce this as impa, impa. You pronounce it as I. You're going to nasalize the I sound. Impa, impa. Pinti, pinti. Bilinka. Bilinka. Nampa naklo hashinshi. Nampa naklo hashinshi. Okay, good. Hachipuna mahaya. Okay, now we're going to look at the sounds of O. We say O, O. This is the most unique vowel because the only word that I could find that's going to sound like the nasal, sound like the Choctaw O is the word boy. Boy. So what I want you to do is to pronounce the word boy. 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 Now take off the B. Pronounce it again. Oi. Oi. Now take off the Y. The sound you have left over should sound like O. O. Boy. Oi. O. Boy. Oi. O. That might be something you want to practice because you can hear by saying that it doesn't sound like O. It doesn't sound like ah. The sound of A is ah, so we can't use a O for ah. It's going to sound like O, as in boy. The first example word you see there is ochi. Ochi. O, not O. O. Ochi. Ochi. The next word is bok. A lot of people want to pronounce this as bak. That's because they don't know the vowel sounds. Or ah is the A sound. This is written with O, so it can't be bak. Bok. Bok. Go back to boy. Boy, oi, o, bok. Bok. Next, we want to look at the short O. The sound of the short O. And this is where I want to point out to those of you who are using the letter A, using the letter U for the sound of A. The U represents the sound of short O, so we can't use it for the A sound. So keep that in mind when you're writing. The U represents the sound of short O. Therefore, it won't be used to represent the sound of A. The short O sounds like the letter in for, F-O-R. Just a little bit shorter O than the one you hear in boy, for. O, still the same sound, you just don't hold it as long. For. The U represents the sound of short O. And if you see the O written within a word, you might want to pronounce it as a long O, but here again, you may not know by spelling how this word should sound. First example word you see there is choka. It's not chuka. We don't have the sound of oo in Choctaw. A lot of people want to sound the U as oo. That's probably an English pronunciation. We want to sound our U as the O in Choctaw, not the oo in English. Chukka, chukka. Double consonant, double sound. Hold it a little bit longer. Chukka, chukka. The second word you see there is ushta. Ushta. Chukka. Ushta. Sounds like O. You just don't hold it as long. O. Chukka. Ushta. Ushta. Chukka. And the most unique sound is the one you hear in the nasal O. The most unique vowel sound is the nasal O. You say the letter O while you're allowing the sound to vibrate in your nasal cavity. O. 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 Sound the O. Allow the sound to vibrate in your nasal cavity. And you have O. O. Practice the word. Practice the sound. O. We had the long O. O. Short O. O. Now we have the nasal O. 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 Practice the sound. The first word follows the first rule for writing nasalization. Omba. Omba. The second word follows the second rule. Ontuklo. Ontuklo. Third rule is for the third word. Onsi. Onsi. Omba. Ontuklo. Onsi. Omba. Ontuklo. Onsi. Do you have any questions? Okay, good. I like how you answered. Napanaklo nishilikyo. Napanaklo nishilikyo. Kiyo. Napanaklo nishilikyo. Well, I'm glad you were here then, John. Now you can tell Laura all about it. Okay, we'll complete what is equivalent to chapter 1 in the book. We'll complete that on Monday. But right now I want to tell you that there will be no class on September the 2nd or the 5th. We will not have class on September the 2nd or the 5th, which is next Friday and the following Monday. We will not have class on the 2nd and the 5th. Next Friday and the following Monday, we will not have class. So write that on your calendar. Okay, there's no questions, so I'm going to go ahead and close class. Y'all have a good weekend. Come back on Monday. We'll learn just a little bit more. Chahta Anumpa. Chipin sa lachiki. Yakoki.